welcome to this episode of Recipe for Conversation. For this episode, I have a very special friend sitting with me today. Should I call you Chef Aeisha?
Sure.
Okay, not? I have Chef Aeisha Robinson with me today, you guys. She's Robinson now, y'all. She got married a year ago on me, but but I have this fantastic chef with me here today. You know, as I do with everybody that sits down with me, I go over all of their amazing accomplishments so you, the viewers, can see just who's sitting down with me today, okay? So for Miss Aeisha, again, I need these cards, y'all, because they have so many. I can't keep them all on the brain. Miss Aeisha graduated from Johnson & Wales University. She's an award-winning alum from Johnson & Wales University. She studied abroad in Singapore and Thailand. She's a featured chef, you guys, on Food Network, yes. Featured chef, this girl, a featured chef on Food Network, and the show was the Comfort Food Crawl. They flew here to film her in Charlotte, North Carolina. They saw her out. I'm just saying, y'all don't understand how big that is. That's this girl right here, this little tiny girl.
This little tiny girl like to eat.
Okay, and she's done so many other amazing things in the culinary world, and I couldn't think of anyone else to sit down today with but other than this amazing lady right here, because she has an amazing, inspiring story to share with you guys for today. So, Aeisha.
Hello.
Welcome. As you can see, I've provided for you some red velvet cake because
I
know that's one of your faves. So we're going to eat today, you guys. We're going to eat some cake and talk to you, okay? But Aeisha, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Recipe for Conversation. So let's get a little bit into your journey and talk a little bit about you. So where are you from, Aeisha?
I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I was born and raised there, and then I later moved to Charlotte for school, and I love the city so much. So much, I decided to move back years later, and here I am.
Awesome. And then I met her, so it's awesome. Okay, so let's talk food. Let's talk the journey of the culinary world for you. So I've been in the kitchen with you.
Yes.
And I know you're super smart, like amazingly smart, like a genius. She's like genius status, y'all. Yes. Yes, she is. All honors classes in high school. She's a genius. But so what made you go the chef route? What made you go into the culinary world?
You know, I think I hate to sound so cliche, but it was destined for me to become a chef. I think all signs point towards cooking. As a child, I loved being in the kitchen. I loved watching like PBS, like all the cooking shows that used to air on Saturday and Sunday mornings. And when I had other options, like I could go outside and play, I would sit in the house and watch cooking shows for fun.
Oh, wow.
And that was like early in my childhood, like 8 or 9. And I started sneaking in the kitchen, trying to whip up stuff. My parents would be in the bed sleeping, and I would like concoct all these crazy recipes. And then later in high school, I started taking food classes, and again, just for fun, not ever thinking that I could make anything of this. I always thought I would go the education route, but food just kept pulling me in. Most of my jobs early in high school was, food related, and I finally decided my senior year, you know what, I think I'm going to pursue this like full time. I always looked to have a career that I wouldn't get bored with. And for me, cooking gave me that ability to, go every different avenue. I could become a personal chef. I could teach cooking. I could travel the world cooking. I could do everything that I love to do, all the while I could still be cooking. And so that was just something that inspired me. I could see myself at 70, 90, 100 years old, still being in the kitchen doing what I love and not getting bored with it.
That's awesome. That's good. Oh, that's awesome. So when did you become okay with the gift? Because I say, it's sometimes people have their idea or their plan for you, or, or society or friends in your circles put on you this undue pressure of this is what you're supposed to be doing, like, the corporate route or blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So what made you settle on, I'm okay with being a chef?
You know what? I don't know if I ever fully gave myself permission to like embrace being a chef. I did it because I loved it, and I always had people around me who supported what I did. But this industry is a really tough industry to break through on, and especially being a female, and especially being a Black female in a male-dominant industry. I don't know if I've ever fully given myself permission to be great in what I do. But the thing that's kept me going is my passion and my love for it, and that makes it okay.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, yeah, when you say that there's not enough African Americans within the industry, I think, that's important to bring out, because that was part of my frustration with when I didn't go to culinary school like you, but
and that's okay too.
I'm YouTube trained. You're classically trained.
I'm life trained, I like to say.
That you're life trained, but that was part of my frustration, is that I wasn't seeing a lot of people that look like me.
I never got to have someone to look up to, a female that looked like me who was doing what I did. And you see people on TV, but I never had anyone in real life that I could look up to and I could call up and have mentorship from, or just ask for simple advice. I never got that in this industry.
Wow. So there wasn't a reflection or in the mirror where you saw that image that looked like you.
Never.
To draw from. Wow, we're gonna visit that. We're gonna visit
We'll
that.
Come back.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about I mentioned you told me that you'd gone to Singapore and Thailand. How did that happen? Let's talk about that.
So Johnson & Wales, they offer a program, a study abroad program, and initially I was terrified to go out of the country. So I didn't even think twice when they presented the opportunity. I think in your junior year, I didn't care to do it. I traveled as a kid with my family, and I love going to different countries, but going by yourself,
right.
No, I never thought I would. But the opportunity came back up, and I was done with all my core classes, all of my stuff. I was getting ready to graduate, and I had an open semester, and so I just decided, you know what, why not?
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
After I graduated, they allowed me to do the program once I graduated, which I'm really glad that I did after I graduated. But I was still able to do the program through Johnson & Wales. So it was a group of about 20 students or so. Some were still in school, some had already graduated. So it was like a wide mix of students from all over, from the Denver campus, Providence, and Charlotte campus, also from Miami. And we met in California for the first time. So I didn't know any of the other students that were going with me. And we all flew to Singapore, and it was probably the most amazing,
I bet,
and it was the most amazing experience, but it also was probably one of the best experiences to shape who I am as a chef as well.
Oh gosh, okay.
Being there, it brought out this love for Asian cuisine and everything Asian. I love the Asian culture, and so that really in that moment I was able to define who I am as a chef.
That's why we get along, y'all. I can eat Chinese food, any Asian cuisine all day long. So
Thai all day.
Kindred spirits, right?
Yeah, we're more destined to be connected.
So how long did you stay abroad when you were
studying? The program was for a couple of months. I did a couple of some time in Singapore. And then we were able to go to different countries from there, in our free time. They had a rigorous course load for us. So we went to a university there at Sunrise University. We did courses at the university in Singapore, and then they would have us go on field trips almost every day. It seemed like we would do field trips to restaurants, to museums. So not only were we getting the food aspect, but we got a whole cultural experience. So it wasn't just food centered, but we were able to go to Buddha temples and just really immerse ourselves into the culture, and it was probably the most beautiful thing. And then after Singapore, we then traveled to Thailand and got to explore in Thailand, and Thailand was it was so much fun. I let go of everything, all of my fears, all of my inhibitions, and just we got to ride elephants and go and play with white tigers and have food that you would never imagine even trying or think that even exists. So that was amazing.
Culinary wise, were you in the kitchen? Did they put you
in the kitchen?
Gotcha.
We like a culinary school in the States. We went to culinary school. We in Thailand, we cooked outside, and we had chef instructors, and I still, talk to some of my instructors on Facebook, and this was years ago, but like it still stayed with me to this day. I still talk to them and get advice if I need, advice on a recipe or like inspiration. I get to follow them. So thanks to social media, I still can connect with my experience there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good because you, again, in our field, you don't see too many of us.
Yeah,
us meaning African Americans spreading their wings in that way,
Oh, yeah.
So when you came back, because I think being in that environment and having that experience, I liken it to having a backpack and you stuff in the backpack with all kind of stuff. Yeah, like all of these experiences, all of the knowledge that you brought back. So coming back, was it hard, like getting that out? Was it hard expressing yourself in a way where you were allowed to exemplify, the things that you learned and stuff like that?
Oh, it was so frustrating because when you're in culinary school, you have a false idea of what life after school would be like. I was in for a rude awakening. I remember after I came back, I started searching for a job. I went back to DC with my family, and I was looking for a job, and I could not find a job anywhere. And I'm thinking to myself, how could you not hire me? Like, I have this background.
Right.
I can do this. I can do that. And I believed in myself, but it seemed like at the time no one else believed in me. And so I finally found a job. I started working at the Willard Intercontinental in DC, and it's a beautiful hotel in DC, one of the oldest buildings in DC, and that's where I learned a ton of real life culinary experience. But when I started there, I just knew that I would just go straight to the top.
Gotcha.
I had so much confidence in myself, but
I love it.
I was still young and naive, and that was my first real job out of culinary school, and I'm like, look what I can do. Hey, I'm here. Look what I can do. And I wanted to show off everything I can do. And then in that time, the mentality was put your head down and learn.
Gotcha.
Everything you think you know, throw it away. And so it was a very humbling experience. And I did just that. I put my head down and I got everything that I could from that hotel. Awesome. And it made me such a better chef being there. And one of my mentors to this day, I met him working at the hotel. He was the executive chef there of the hotel. And he taught me so much. And he gave me the foundation to make me the chef that I am today. So I owe him a huge thank you. But it was a no-nonsense type of kitchen.
Gotcha.
So, like, you can't go in there and show off and say, like, I went to Singapore. I could chop better than you. And I could walk better than you and saute better than you. No, it wasn't like that at all.
Gotcha.
So, I literally for years, had to be quiet and just gather everything I could get from the chefs who paved the way for me.
That's awesome that you were allowed yourself to be that sponge, because a lot of people don't open themselves up that way, where you came with all of this knowledge. You could have been like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And do you understand where I've been?
I'm so glad that I was able to, even as young as I was able to be humble and take the information. Right. Like, because if I would have, like, came in with that arrogancy and like, think I know more than everybody else, I'd probably be a crappy chef right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Y'all, listen, when I tell you, this amazing lady right here can run circles around people in a kitchen.
Because I'm tired.
Listen, I have firsthand seen this lady run circles around people, like work grown men under the ground, like carry huge pots, and like you see her tiny stature, but
don't be fooled.
Please don't ever get it twisted. So today, I think, it's like ironic that I choose red velvet cake for us to eat today, because, I think about red velvet cake and I think about what's put in the red velvet cake and the ingredients. And, you're a chef. So one of the ingredients that's in red velvet cake is vinegar, and most people will never guess that vinegar is in red velvet cake. But I think that's a lot like life and like all of us as people, where we have all of these things that make us who we are.
Exactly.
And
the
like
good and the bad.
Yes, and all of your life experiences, and your journey, and sometimes we try to hide from those things, or we try to
Yeah.
avoid those things that we think, are like, ugh. So, like this cake, again, I see you like that person in the kitchen where you're the small person, and people will underestimate you, and they don't
all the time.
They anticipate the package to be a certain way. Like, can we talk about that? Like,
oh God. In my experience, I've so often been stereotyped to be one way, and then when people give me a chance to be myself and like fully like embrace who I am, and then they're like, whoa, like I never saw that coming. People are so shocked when they see me like start to work, and I joke around a lot, but when it comes down to food, I get down to business. Like I everything, all bets are off. Like I take food very serious, so people very often underestimate what I can do, and I think I use that to fuel my fire too.
That's good.
Especially like just like being in the kitchen. Most men think, oh, I can do that better. I can, I got that for you. But when I like start to work and like fully show who I am, like, and I see the guys like standing in the corner with their mouth open wide, like I would never thought that. Like I really, really like that fuels my fire. That makes me go harder, and I think that's part of why I go so hard in the kitchen, just to prove people wrong, and because I know what I'm capable of.
Gotcha.
So I want to make sure that the world could see everything I'm capable of too, and never let anybody underestimate who I am.
That's awesome. That's good stuff right there. And it's good that you say that, because I've seen her firsthand moving through a kitchen. Like, she'll be the first one in, the last one to leave.
Unfortunately.
Literally, you have to be like, move out of the way, I got it, because she will fill every empty space, and you see, like me, I hate dishes, y'all, look. I hate doing dishes, but literally, she will come off of a line cooking major meals, and then you'll turn around, she's back in the kitchen, like no lie, this girl will run circles around the best of the best. So, so as far as getting back to us talking about African Americans and being in this industry, and not really seeing enough representation of us as a people within this industry. I know for me, especially in the pastry world, I really didn't have a lot of people where I could glean from, or I could say, oh, this is the person here, or this person is a pastry chef who's doing it and they're on this level. I don't think that we have a lot of exposure. There's so many talented chefs that are out there. So can we talk a little bit about that? Like, what's your plan as far as like, what's your goal with, because you are an amazing chef. Like, there's so much, you can go from French cuisine to Thai to Chinese. Like, there isn't anything you can't cook. So how are you going to get that out and share that?
So for me, it is so important to be an example for those who are coming up in the industry. I always look for people to mentor, for anybody who's just like remotely close to like being in the industry. I always try to help out and be that inspiration that I didn't feel like I had. I am never afraid to share recipes, to share ideas, to share knowledge in general. I feel like, why would God bless me with like such a skill and so much knowledge to keep it inside?
Oh, that's good.
So it's like, it would be selfish for me not to pass it on to those who are coming up. So being a mentor is like one of the most important ways that I can give back what was given to me, or what I learned. I think it's so important. When I worked at Turner House, I tried to have a team of mostly women. If I could, I would hire like a kitchen full of women, just to like be able to be that leader that, I think a lot of young girls need.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think, and that's what I say to people, like, you have the gift, but why do you have the gift? How are you using the gift? Because again, people just see your food, but there's somebody else behind the food.
Exactly.
There's a reason why you cook. So, and I think that's awesome that you tie that into mentorship, that you find a way to say, hey, I can use this as a tool to get back. I can use this as a tool to mentor a grown woman and also a child as well.
Exactly.
That's phenomenal. And that you've grasped that, because I think a lot of us get so caught up in the job and everyday struggle of, the routine of going to the job and forgetting there's a purpose.
Exactly. And and every day I try to remember what I'm doing this for. Like, I don't ever want to forget my purpose in life and why I like found this passion in food. And like I said, it's just so often that people don't see someone who looks like me doing great things. So when I go so hard, it's not just to prove a point. It's or not to prove a point to guys in the kitchen. It's to prove a point to young girls, to young women that are coming up. Like, hey, you can be great too. Hey, you can do it too. Let me show you how. Like, I always try to offer advice or a helping hand in general, like anything that people need to just make sure that they're fulfilling their purpose as well. I try to do whatever I can in that area. So
yes, and she's a very good listener.
And I like the song, so it's a win-win.
I can't tell you how many side counseling sessions this girl and I have had in the kitchen where we've just talked about life and talked through life, and it's just, I think it's cool that food brought us together.
Yeah.
And then when we're in the kitchen, okay, so the backstory with Aeisha and myself. Literally, we met, 3 years ago?
Probably about 3 years now.
About 3 years ago. Okay, so I was at the radio station, and there's this awesome host called Melanie Pratt that's at the radio station, and she does an awesome job of featuring local people here in Charlotte and giving you a chance and giving you a spotlight. So that day, she had called me in, and I was there, and Aeisha came in as a chef. I was like, who is this tiny little girl?
And I remember Melanie was like, these cupcakes, you gotta try these cupcakes. I'm like, where are they at?
So like she comes with an explosive package, and I think it's just so funny to see people underestimate you because of your size, and because of, you're a woman and you're and look, y'all, when I had this shrimp and grits, 2 years, I'm always requesting that this girl makes this shrimp and
years later she wants shrimp and grits.
So we're gonna have to maybe do a feature where we have Aeisha come in the kitchen and she teach you guys how she does her shrimp and grits, because it is amazing. Like, literally, girl, I was stealing shrimp out the bag. But she left a whole spread for the radio station to eat after we left, and I kept going in the break room eating the shrimp. Don't tell nobody. And I always remembered her food, and I think that's awesome. Like, as a chef, it's a testament to your skill. Like, for me, I tell people when my cake is in a room, I might not be in the room, but you've met me.
Exactly.
Because you're in that moment, I met you, and it left years long because we didn't reconnect with a year later.
You came back to the restaurant.
Oh yeah, okay. So I went to the restaurant. Yes.
And then we would see each other like. Then.
No, I think that was just the only time, the restaurant, and then I didn't see you again after that.
Yeah. So fast forward to about a year and a half later.
Yeah, and then we wound up meeting each other in the same kitchen, and we're both. Then I was like, "What are you doing?" And then we worked for another, amazing team. 2 guys in the kitchen. We had an opportunity to work with them, some phenomenal chefs and business owners, and we reconnected. And it was so meant to be.
Yeah, it took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. So again, you guys, I just brought Aeisha on just to tell a little bit about her story, a little bit about her journey, and her journey not only as an African American chef, but an African American woman who's a chef. Those are other dynamics that are involved. And,
so many layers.
That right there. And I really champion and celebrate you for being a leader, for being willing to give back and to mentor and to use your gift for greater good, not just to prepare wonderful meals, but to teach people. And I thank you for that. That's awesome. Because like I said, a lot of people don't connect on that level with why do I have the gift.
Yeah.
So what's next for Aeisha? What's next for you?
Oh, man.
She's a mother too. Mother, wife, all that.
But yeah, right now my family is my focus. So I look for ways to be able to still be there with my family and still be able to have my life in the kitchen. So, I'm definitely open to doing more personal chef things where I could still have more time to myself. currently I am working in a restaurant. I'm working in Lincoln Pen right now, and I'm running that restaurant. And it's hard work. But you know, for the foreseeable future, I definitely want to be more involved with my family. I have 3 stepdaughters who love to cook.
Awesome.
So it gives me great joy that I get to teach them and mentor them, as well as being having fun in the kitchen with them. So right now, family is my focus, and whatever could bring my family and I and food together, that's where my path will go.
That's
now.
awesome. Okay. That's good stuff. So where can the people find you? Are you doing anything on the gram or Facebook?
You can find me at Chef Aeisha on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Chef Aeisha on Facebook. And I'm just in the city. I'm always ready to do something. I'm here, ready.
Well, thank you for sitting down with me for this episode of Recipe for Conversation. It's my honor. Oh my gosh, you know you are amazing. You're very special to me. But thank you so much. And today, Aeisha, you were the recipe for conversation. Thank you for giving us your ingredients and letting us in on your life. It was an honor. And you guys, again, she gave you all the information on how to find her. And thank you guys for watching the show for today. And stay tuned for more amazing episodes of Recipe for Conversation. And right now, me and Aeisha, we're going to get into this cake because we've been waiting. So you guys have a good one, okay? You guys, we'll see you later on the next episode. Thank you. Girl.